Welcome back, everybody, to the Hearthstone Legendary Series. We're just making jokes in between breaks. We have a lot of fun here, and we're hoping you guys are too. Next we have our finals for the week 8. To wrap it all up, we have KitKatz versus Savjz. The winner gets an all-paid trip to California, flight, hotel, and a night out with Frodan and TJ.
Yep. So celebrity meetings included in those.
That's right. We'll
in
take
those
lots of
packages.
selfies, post it on the Instagrams,
Indeed,
on
we
the
will.
Twitters, and we'll be unabashedly rocking out here in Burbank, California. And of course, you guys are invited too, so make sure to keep your eyes peeled for any of the details on our offline event in the studio. You can check out, you can meet Savjz/KitKatz, TJ, me, so the production crew. You can meet the famous Milkcast. And you can also, see some good Hearthstone events too. Right? I mean, we're gonna have some good matches too. Magic Amy, Dark Wanix, Soleil, and the winner of this.
Yeah, and this is going to be a lot of fun to be had, and we won't be stopping between now and then. We do have a lot of events coming up on the weekends.
Right.
Every weekend between now and the LAN, we will be doing some fun stuff. So even though the final week to qualify for the Legendary Series LAN is this week, we still won't let you guys down by missing weeks in the future. So
No, yeah.
Stay tuned.
So for the next 4 weeks, the season was originally 12 weeks long. So the first 8 weeks were supposed to be the qualification for the LAN, and then the last 4 weeks were supposed to be like a tournament where we experiment with formats, try out to have fun, and see what works. Because the number one thing that we wanted to do with our event here at ESL was to experiment with what we could do in terms of the capacity of the format. Like, could we make it more of the ladder and less of the last hero standing? Is it a way for it to be more flexible with how people qualify for it, make it a bigger open? These kinds of things we've been thinking about, and we were pretty happy to make it half 50-50 open
Yeah.
qualification for a while. But now it's like starting to get to the point where we're probably going to be more aggressive next season. Season 2 details will be coming out in just over a month, I believe.
Yeah, Hearthstone Esports is still young. We're trying to find out what works the best, but
Sure.
we are jumping into the final match of the day. So the winner and of the season, the winner moves on to that $20,000 land final. The loser goes home with nothing, and there's no benefit for finishing second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth. It only matters if you win in this final week 8. So even though Savjz probably exhausted, KitKatz could be exhausted as well too. It's been a long day of Hearthstone for him as well. These guys are definitely going to be putting their all into this match.
All right, so we have Paladin versus Warrior, followed by Druid versus Mage, and then Mage versus Druid. Pretty much the same exact lineup, it feels, because Warrior and Paladin accomplish very similar things, especially the way Savjz is. It's just that Paladin scales really well into late game, and KitKatz has the power of Kael'thasad.
Yeah. On his
If it
side as
happens
well.
again, TJ,
I am going to walk out,
okay,
or I'm going to
and
land
I'm
the
gonna
floor.
solo cast.
I'm going to land the floor and do the worm.
It'll be like one of those Bible camps that you see all the time in
Yeah.
documentaries. People like going like crazy. And
When
just,
they're
like, having-
possessed and they're just like breakdancing.
overcome with happiness,
Yeah, yeah.
just rapture. I don't know. I would definitely lose my mind if that happens again. I don't know what'll happen, but if it does, okay. So I was told that the chances of this happening 3 times in a row for Kael'thasad is 1 in a million, like literally 1 in a million, like 0.0000002%, and it's 2 times the likelihood of a royal flush
Wow.
on a poker table. So that's what I was told on Twitter. I don't know if that's exactly true. Maybe it's not right on the exact percentages, but
I actually
either way,
trust.
it's highly unlikely for 3 in a row.
I trust everything I read on Twitter. So
Well, that's good. Well, your
That's just
self-esteem must be really low.
Twitter can be a nasty
Twitter
place.
Twitter is pretty mean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Twitch chat is also mean.
Twitch
Exclamation point
chat is
X.
awesome and mean at the same time.
Yeah.
And very mean. It's like a trial by fire. If you can survive Twitch chat, well, you can survive pretty much anything
Yeah.
in life.
Don't forget to type.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. Definitely applies to Twitch chat. He threw away Sneasel Shredder. What is he doing?
You gonna sing it?
No.
What doesn't kill
I will
you?
not disgrace the voice of Kelly Clarkson.
Amen.
So, The Paladin versus Warrior can be quite long, but it also might be fast depending on how. Depends on how like the cards end up panning out. Warrior does have room to be a little bit more aggressive if they end up picking up the legendaries that they need to put pressure on, or even vice versa. If Paladin gets the Quartermaster, if it gets the momentum.
This is a slower Paladin deck from Savjz, but I still don't think it would necessarily be classified as control. He does run double lay on hands.
Yeah. Good into the late game, but
yeah.
of course there are mid-game power plays that you can just swing. Savjz hesitated because there is a very important question. It's like, what happens if he just simply played an Acolyte Pain? Would I have been able to answer it? He took a risk, but it ends up paying off. It's okay. In the meanwhile, this Pilot Shredder, these mechs in general have been MVPs so far of today.
Yeah.
In terms of the entertainment value.
Yeah, we've had some pretty crazy, not only just like piloted shredders and piloted sky golems, but of course the Sneasel shredder.
Yeah, definitely.
Anti-kill bot in this paladin deck as well. It's actually starting to, in the first couple matches, the double land hands was a pretty interesting choice, but it actually does look more control heavy. Sentient Shield Master as well. I think this is like as close to like the old control paladin as you're gonna get.
Sure.
While still holding on to some of those mid-range tools.
Do you like putting out the Death Spite here, or setting up an Armor Smith and the Fiery War Axe and giving up your Pilot Shredder?
I think you need to find use for the fire.
Death Spite does challenge
yeah.
whatever comes out next.
Yeah. But at the same time, Fire War Axe, it usually in this matchup later on in the game becomes just a tool for you to kill dudes.
There's nothing wrong with that. It answers
so.
Quartermaster, I suppose.
And this takes away like a muster for battle play.
What? Okay, what?
3 Scavenging Hyenas.
3 Scavenging Hyenas, and to think of the absurdity of that, we've had a lot more Pilot Shredders than Sneeds, but that card is so common. What the heck?
That's probably rare too.
Each 2-drop is 1 point something percent, like 1.4. Something is definitely not right with this Hearthstone client that we're using right now. To have the chances of it happening.
By the end of this cast, Fred and I are going to start to become conspiracy theorists. There's got to be someone behind Blizzard, like
Conspiracy Keanu.
Flicking switches and pulling knobs.
Yeah, feels like it.
That was also since they're piloted shredders. It's also, you see that there? See what I did?
TJ, you're so clever.
I know.
Well, you could kill off this mechanical Yeti. That's a very good scenario. 9 stats, generally slightly above average.
Yep. And a spare part.
Well, both of them get a spare part. And they both get pretty useful ones, too.
Yeah.
I think the Versing Switch is one of the cooler, one of the really cool ones, because you can do some funky stuff with Big Game Hunter, or ways for you to get past taunts. Or even vice versa, find ways for lethal you didn't know you had. So, like, you know, if you get a reversing switch and you just happen to have, you know, Ysera on board, it's like, oh, I actually have like an 8 damage, 1 mana spell.
Yeah, a way for you to BGH a Steeds or a Kel'Thuzad.
Into a Kel'Thuzad?
Nope, can't do that, but... Yeah, well, see, it's pretty relevant, because if a Kel'Thuzad is played, if it doesn't get immediate value, that's a really good way to deal with it, because he does have the BGH in his hand as well. So a reversing switch could end up being a really big deal.
So he doesn't actually have a very clean way. Wow, great result here for KitKatz. He doesn't actually have a great way to deal with Dr. Boom, other than just doing his own Dr. Boom.
Well, he had a pretty good outcome for those boom bots. Having that first boom bot hit his Armor Smith for 1 damage, it's tough to ask for more. I don't know. Because if you play Dr. Boom and he BGHs your Dr. Boom, then that's a lot of momentum on board that you're giving up, because you would spend your whole turn. But at the same time,
yeah, that's actually a really good point.
If you throw down Sledge Belcher here, it just gets eaten by the Dr. Boom anyway, and you're still in a position next turn where you don't have a way to deal with it.
Well, he's running out of time. He's got to place it soon.
Yeah. I think
So we have a Dr. Boom mirror match.
I think the Dr. Boom plays better here.
You just he has Kael'thasad right now.
Oh wow.
Is that the right play? That's still like insane. It's like summon a 7/7.
Picking up value on Big Game Hunter as soon as you can feels good, but against Control Warrior,
against Control
not
Warrior,
so
you have
much.
so many targets.
Yeah.
I like Kael'thasad here. It's just like summon a 7/7. Okay, so now you're in trouble. Unless you play your own Kael'thasad.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Just bring back endless supply of boom bots.
Yeah, and actually you're going to be overdrawing with your Acolyte.
Yeah.
He doesn't actually have removal. This is very awkward for KitKatz. Alright, well, maybe he can draw into something better. Anything better. Ugh. Okay, Sledge Belcher. Puts him a little weak to mind control tech as well. Hopefully, the board will weaken itself a little bit, so that way he can use some other things to clean up. Maybe the boom bots will have some higher impact. Let's see, what's the best play here? You want to be careful not to overextend into Brawl as well, because if you just have too much going on, then and he draws into Brawl. I mean, then again, I think he would have used Brawl to a certain extent.
Yeah, that would have been a pretty decent Brawl turn, because there was a high likelihood that one of his min creatures would have survived.
Still hard to say. I still think you probably should be careful not to overextend. Oh, is he thinking about reverse switching onto Pyromancer so that way he can keep Dr. Boom at a 4/7 or 4/6? That's pretty clever. He might also absorb the damage.
He might lose the Dr. Boom.
Oh yeah, he wants to lose the Dr. Boom to heal it. Ooh, not the best result.
Not quite.
You might want to play a taunt then, so that way you can protect Kael'thasad. I don't know. I think he's going to lose Kael'thasad pretty easily now just to a weapon hit.
Well, KitKatz did draw into a BGH, but at this stage, it's
Well,
Dr. Boone's already done enough damage.
yeah. But then again, Paladin doesn't have many other targets to Big Game Hunter, so it's probably your best bet.
Yeah.
So this ended up not being as game-winning as I thought it would be. It felt like there was a strong likelihood that Savjz would run away with this game.
Yeah. But now, I mean, KitKatz still has like high impact cards every turn. He's got double Shieldmane in his hand. He had Sneeds and Kel'Thuzad as well.
Right.
And there's a lot of threats that he's already been through from Savjz. Like he's been through the Dr. Boom. He's been through the Kel'Thuzad. I say she's been through 2 Dr. Booms.
KitKatz is so well prepared though. He's gonna get the Black Knight ready for the Sen'jin.
Yeah.
Oh man, Black Knight is ready to go.
And Savjz could be in a rough spot here. Savjz as well. This hand is just so full of
Big bombs.
big dudes
Remember,
and
it's
ladies.
it's a deck that cut a lot of its early game, so it can have a lot of late game threats. At least from what I observed on KitKatz's end.
Well, I remember like the original Control Warrior was just like all legendaries. It was so greedy and slow.
Yeah, definitely. I'm so afraid of what this Need Shredder can do.
No.
Alright, maybe Black Knight on this then. What's funny is that KitKatz actually has Kael'Thuzad now. Like, he doesn't need to get KT off of this Needs.
Nope.
He still probably will.
Yeah, and I mean, Sneed's, it's a big body in and of itself, and to be able to remove it effectively, you basically have to silence it and remove it, because it's just so risky to let it go off. I mean, the downside being that it's really slow.
All right, no KT shenanigans.
Unfortunately not.
It's too bad.
Yeah.
Very good sequencing from Savjz too. And, well, I guess we're going to have to wait and see for another time here. That Ashbringer is also going to do work unless KitKatz picks up Harrison Jones. But this is like a big push that, if it doesn't work, I mean, Savjz might be in trouble because there's just a lot of firepower from what Warrior has.
Yeah. And I mean, he's just got such situational cards. Like anti-Healbot not really going to help him until like after Alexstrasza comes out. Big Game Hunter situational as well, but a lot of the threats that are going to come out over the next 3-4 turns,
right,
going to be Kel'Thuzad or like Shield Maiden. This is
All
really smart to clear this off the board before he can get Kel'Thuzad value out of it.
Warrior's one of the classes that also doesn't really play mind control tech now, so it's one of the very few ones. Because it has so many other ways to spot removal anyways. Not to mention it's got like a better version of mind control tech with Brawl if you're super far behind.
Yep.
How long can KitKatz hold on for? Can he get any semblance of board control? It's going to be tough to say unless he gets Brawl. Wow, that Ashbringer's done so much work.
Yeah, seriously. He's been able to just build up his board and take this board a lot further than it should have gone in the first place. And we've seen so many threats just played onto the board and just taken care of. Sneeds, Shield Maiden, Sylvanas, all just completely dissected.
Right. I think KitKatz is going to try to Hail Mary on this one. You attack the face here, right? Ah, alright.
I don't think so. Because even over the course of 2 turns, plus Grom, still wouldn't be able to have the kill.
Baron Riven Dare. How does that even apply? Man.
That could have made some pretty crazy shenanigans with Kel'Thuzad. Sneeds? Oh, Sneeds. He wasn't the one playing the Sneeds, though.
Huh. Oh, his logic is that he's going to use it to trade with one of those things and then attack. Well, he might realistically just trade it in and then play Kel'Thuzad here. It might be his best chance. The good news is that there's not really that significant amount of damage on the board. So he's still not under major threat if he just plays Kel'Thuzad and executes the Peacekeeper. How much life will be at? He'll be at 9 with 1 on the board.
Yeah.
He has a 5-5. I think that's a pretty strong play overall.
Yeah, I mean, he's still not in the greatest of positions, but I mean, he has grown, and Kel'Thuzad on the board is just super tough to deal with.
Well, Lay on Hands continues the onslaught of Paladin.
And keep in
But
mind,
at the
Savjz
same
runs
time,
2 of them.
yeah, that's true. At the same time, there is a lot of significant power on board. Ah, like, Savjz is so close, yet so far. Okay, well, he's got a board clear.
And then he can just
Chill and armor up.
armor up.
Guess Big Game Hunter makes sense too.
Not really anything else that you're going to use that for in this matchup. He already used this first one on Dr. Boo. And he does run 2. Both these guys run 2.
Big, powerful plays from KitKatz. Is he about to make a comeback in a matchup where Well, I thought Savjz almost had it. Like, a lot of matchups today feel like they've been going one way and then they go the opposite way. Pretty close. Harrison Jones needs to pick up a quality number 2, right? Quality number 2 would be really. I guess Sludge Belcher's okay as well.
Yeah, he's going to keep himself alive. Well,
are you sure? Unless he picks up an activator with Gromosh. Still has yet to hit Cool Taskmaster. That's it. That's going to be game number 1 to KitKatz. The Warrior has barely prevailed. What a comeback. Today has had so many close games where it looks like it was going one way and it swaps the other way.
Yeah, and most of those games have been KitKatz. There's been a couple that haven't been. Yeah,
very tough loss here for Savjz, but KitKatz is on the board. And now we go into Druid versus Mage. See who can get the better of the other ones. Now, they are playing different styles of both decks. I think KitKatz is playing the faster version of both those decks.
Yes.
He's playing a faster Mage and a faster Druid compared to a slower Mage and a slower Druid.
And
I still think Savjz is the favorite in the series, though.
I would say so. Fast Druid, I think, does have potential to just completely blow out a Mage, at least in that second matchup when KitKatz is playing the Druid. But it's still hard against Fatigue Mage. And again, Savjz playing the slower Druid here. I think he has an advantage against KitKatz, who his Mage deck has, I think, brought him. Well, I don't know. I was going to say the least amount of success out of his deck.
That's reasonable, middle of the road.
It got him a win today, I think. Maybe 2.
Yeah. Well, KitKatz is hyped. He's like doing stretches and stuff.
Oh, well.
Scratching his back, trying to reach over.
It's like a crisp 9 p.m. where he is.
I know. And then Savjz, it's, well, it's 8 p.m. here, which means it's like 5 a.m. over in Finland.
KitKatz is cracking
Sun's
open.
Gonna be rising soon.
His first Dr. Pepper of the evening, fresh bag of Doritos.
That's right.
And Savjz is like trying to keep coffee, keep his body up with coffee, I guess is the better way to say that.
Yeah, at this point, like, he's reaching over for whatever's in his medicine cabinet to keep him awake. I know I would be.
Hopefully
sure.
it's not.
I don't even remember the last time I stood up till 5 a.m. I always, like, even at, like, events and stuff, I just, like, I just poop out by, like, 2 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm an old man.
Me too.
Just like 3 to 4 years in this industry ages you decades.
You realize that sometimes it's just not worth it.
Yeah, I can't keep up with those youngins like, you know, Green Sheep and Chalky. They're like 19, 17 years old.
Yeah. I think on average, out of any other esport, Hearthstone has older players.
Yeah, generally speaking. Savjz is like 26, 27.
Yeah.
KitKatz is around like 25, 24.
Life coaches.
Life coach is timeless.
Yeah.
Life coach is an old soul. I love that man.
Yeah.
He's so fascinating. Someone needs to make a commercial series about Life Coach. Just have him talk like the most interesting man in the world.
Or just a documentary.
Yeah, that works too. Oh man. He's going to copy the mirror entity. Very clever. And then shade number 2. That's a very bad outcome. KitKatz had also a very slow start too. Remember, his deck has Undertakers in it.
Yep. It's just like a straight up Death Rattle Mage. It's got a lot of.
Oh man!
Wow!
Runaway game. Now, of course, KitKatz might have mind control tech. I wonder if that's gonna make Savjz trade a little bit here. Nope.
Nope.
Fearless.
Well, he's probably seen KitKatz play today, and I actually don't think KitKatz runs mind control tech in this Mage. I don't remember seeing it.
I remember he did time rewinder it back to his hand, so I believe he does actually.
Oh really?
Yeah. I want to say so. These shades are gonna get out of control soon. Is there a good swipe lineup here? I feel like there is. think it's also time to reveal these shades. They've waited long enough.
Recombobulator
Maybe you can hold off on it one more turn, though.
I think Recombobulator is pretty above average for a 2-drop. Getting 5 mana, or yeah, 5 worth of stats.
Generally speaking, the 2-3 and a 3-2 is very common with the drops, and that's why Pilot Shredder is also very strong, because even though you see 7 stats, it usually gets an additional 5. So it's like 12 stats for 4 mana is ridiculous.
Wow, Ancient of War as well.
Yeah, this game has just been a perfect curve all the way through, and I feel like KitKatz is getting bullied. Sure, this Black Knight comes out, but he's just looking at dying next turn. Like, this Black Knight's great, but this this needs to be like a Senjin or a Taunt off of the Pilot. Oh, there you go. Second Mogushan ward. Is that still lethal? Nope, it's not. Unless he picks up a silence off the Wrath for 1. I think this is a Wrath for 1 play. Oh, no, sorry, you can't do that.
No.
I was thinking if you silence it with Keeper, but he doesn't have enough mana.
Yeah.
I went full Twitch chat.
Hey, man. Twitch chat has feelings, too.
No, they don't. No, they do not. This one looks almost over. The exception could be as if KitKatz gets a pretty board swinging card, big decisive board swinging card again.
Yeah, in this mage deck, it seems like once it loses control of a game, it's really hard for it to come back.
Well, just more the fact that the Druid's tempo is just so good. The wild growth into the perfect curve into everything else. Like, if KitKatz drew Flame Strike, I think he would have. He still would have struggled to get back into this game. I think we're very close to a concede here.
Yeah, he's dead. All right.
So 1-1 is the score. Savjz getting down to business. He didn't mess around whatsoever.
Not at all.
That Druid deck played very straightforward and systematically. Now it's KitKatz's turn to return the favor. He's got his own Druid versus the Mage deck, which often can fall into the same exact patterns. You get to the Wild Growth, you get the really strong boards on or minion on the board, and this is what that deck excels at, being able to accelerate really quickly into powerful plays. That double shade was just so strong early on.
And KitKatz's Druid is actually faster, so he can actually do that at warp speed because he's got 2 Savage Roars instead of 1. So it's more likely that he'll draw into those earlier on as well, which can lead to blowout victories against just about any class. Fatigue Mage is can't stop the bleeding quite as much as like
probably
a Freeze
worst
Mage.
matchup.
Yeah,
honestly. Especially if this Druid has a Ragnaros in it, but that's like by far this deck's worst matchup. That's why I really thought like if Savjz could outlast the Warrior, he was favored in the series, but he's going to be in a really tough spot. Okay, so I guess we're going to go into game number 3 in just a second here. Remember, guys, this is for a lot of money too, because if you come to the land, you're guaranteed, I believe, $1,000. So it's like, or somewhere around there. So it's essentially not just the invite to the land, but you're guaranteed top 8 money.
Yeah, and of course the paid trip here as well is a pretty big deal. You're getting exposure for yourself. Maybe not for these guys since they have a lot of exposure as well, but for the unknown players.
Right.
Getting some exposure for yourself in a land environment, getting to meet people as well, and prize money on top of that's always good. These guys, though, it's the last chance, and it's the last match, so.
It's the last chance. Savjz has proven himself many times to be pretty clutch in tight situations, but KitKatz, you know, it's really starting to come out to be one of his breakout performances that people have been waiting for a long time. So Savjz so badly wants to disrupt the wild growth turn that he's willing to play an explosive sheet, but it's like, it's not that type of deck. You're not trying to rush.
Yeah. Or disrupt like a shade turn as well, like a coin shade.
All right, what's the best way of mana usage here? You have up to 5. You could put Spectre Knight out.
Yeah. It makes it so you don't have a play next turn.
Yeah, what if he just answers with Doomsayer?
You can. Oh yeah, you can't even keep her the Grove because you wouldn't even have the mana available to do that.
Job's done.
Yeah.
Has to just duplicate.
Savjz is playing so fast.
He
that
is
he didn't even
tired.
he didn't even look at his next card. If it
Yeah.
was Doomsayer, I think he might have seriously evaluated. But this is a very, very hard matchup. It's hard to emphasize how difficult it is, without just like seeing it in person. Because the Druid will rarely get to fatigue. You're gonna be helping it draw cards also. Also, you never have to acknowledge their duplicate.
And I think KitKatz.
Oh, okay. There's a Doomsayer waiting.
Yeah.
Keeper waiting though.
Huh. Okay. Yeah. Not much use, but it's still 2/2.
Yeah. He's wondering if, because there is a duplicate, is it worth even trying to Frostbolt and like get it to pop off?
No.
And KitKatz, of course, knows this. He's probably going to silence.
Yeah, and keep pushing through. I mean, he could kill it with damage as well, but
Right. But you don't want to activate the duplicate. He's pressuring too in the meantime.
yeah, you just want to pressure, pressure, pressure. It's unfortunate that he can't Frost Nova and Echo here.
Yeah. Well, even if you Frost Nova and Echo, you still have
yeah,
to
yeah.
play the Doomsayer itself.
Yeah, he does have a Flame Strike next turn. But he is getting dangerously close to combo range, and
Well, I mean, might
Still
not
6
even
mana.
get to the combo, but
yeah.
I wonder if KitKatz would just swipe. I guess it's no need to. He still technically doesn't know if this is duplicate or ice block. It is duplicate though. Yikes. Worst draw possible.
Yep.
Alright, so finally Spectre Knight dies, but after 16 points have been dealt.
That's about as much as you can ask for. And Spectre Knight's just so problematic to deal with for a lot of classes, especially out of
There's
hand.
also a Lotheb.
Yeah, Lotheb's just going to be able to lock him out. Once he has game-ending damage, just play a Lotheb, and then there's just not many opportunities for Fatigue Mage to be able to try and stall things out any longer.
Now this is quite humorous, because this one's going to get silenced too, and then finally Savjz will have 2 more Doomsayers in hand. And he's going to be able to Frost Nova Doomsayer while playing Echo of
I
Adia.
must safeguard.
Oh wait, no he won't.
No,
There's
he won't.
Lotheb.
Well, he
Oh
can.
boy.
Oh, jeez. He can choose one or the other, but
Right.
the only way he'll be able to survive is if he uses the Frost Nova here.
Yeah, it's a matchup you're most likely not going to be able to win. Anyways, so knowing that Savjz has already kind of resigned himself, it's more of like a, well, maybe I can try, but it's already still a low percentage.
This
So-
is the fastest I've ever seen Savjz play this deck, too.
Well, the deck usually requires a little bit more thought, but it's very straightforward. Druid's great at pressuring. You're not going to get to the fatigue stage versus this deck. The way Druid you can take advantage of Druid is to get early taunts and abuse the Death Lord getting like bad stuff. So like the Death Lord pulls out their Keeper of the Grove,
Yeah.
then your Doomsayer can like pop off easier. Well, Ice Block does stall. If he plays this Antique Healbot, he might get a duplicate target, but I mean,
I think you have to Echo here.
yeah. But even if you play a Doomsayer, it doesn't accomplish anything.
Yeah, but if you
He's
play
going to be able to pop the Ice Block and kill off the Doomsayer.
yeah, and if you play Anti-Killbot, he's going to be able to pop the block
Right.
either way.
So your chances to draw I guess your chance to draw a freeze of some sort, like Blizzard. But as long as KitKatz just does 8 damage and not overkill, you'll be good to go.
It's so much pressure.
Yeah, I mean, the Druid deck also is just so good at being able to bounce back its pressure, even if it has a slow start.
Yeah.
Like, against a deck like this, you just never want to play Cold Light Oracle. And you really, again, you're relying on your Death Lords and your Sludge Belchers in order to get yourself through. I guess give him more Doomsayers, why not?
Yeah. Well, a freeze.
All the Doomsayers.
A freeze would be his only way to stay alive. No, actually, no.
I think Savjz should play.
He's dead.
I think he should play all of his Doomsayers. Savjz has started his own religion.
The most honorable of Sudokus.
Good stuff. All right. Well, KitKatz is at a 2-1 lead, and going to the blind pick stage, Savjz once again will have to play catch up. But anything can happen here. I think he's probably going to abstain from his fatigue mage for good reason. I think he's going to lean towards his druid deck here, and I think KitKatz is going to do the same thing. I think his mage deck is not very well equipped to take on druid for the same reasons we saw. I don't think his warrior is that great too, so I think we're going to see druid mirror matches the rest of the way through.
And that actually, I think, favors Savjz a little bit. I think his druid deck is a little bit better equipped.
Okay.
Because he's got his creatures can stand up a little better.
Right. I mean, well, another way to look at it too, though, is if they're at the same speed, but one has taunts and one has minions that aren't taunts. Usually, the minions that don't have taunt are stronger because the taunts have to be lowered in power. So, like, instead of a Sludge Belcher, you have a Spectre Knight. So the raw stats on the Spectre Knight allow it to trade better with a hero power or swipe. So maybe that interaction does end up coming to play, but you know, I don't know. It really does depend on the wild growth and the draws and the innervates, which is why it's always scary because Druid versus Druid for a while, people used to say was like a high skill matchup, and then they realized that it was so mapped out, the decision tree was optimized very clearly to the point where it's like, well, if I get wild growth, I win. If I don't, I lose. Which sometimes is a gross oversimplification, but it oftentimes does feel like that.
Yeah, and the versatility of having double combo as well. Sometimes, if early on, or in the mid game, you can trade up using your first Savage Roar, and just be able to gain a big board advantage because of that. Then you can use the second Savage Roar or just combo in general to be able to close out the game. So maybe after a second thought,
yeah, who knows?
I think it's closer than I thought to begin with, but
I think Savjz also might pick Paladin because he's been practicing a lot and he's really good with it.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how he feels with it relative to the lineup though, so could be the case.
okay.
Yeah. So the Paladin's also a really strong class for him, and it was his deck of choice when he got to rank 4 on the Legend ladders, I believe.
And yes, KitKatz is sitting on the floor. He is at the Archon house right now. They've pretty newly moved in there, so they just don't have enough desks to go around. Rocking the Tempo Storm shirt. Tempo Storm jersey. Sorry.
Jersey.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan.
Apology accepted. So close yet so far. If either of these guys lose, it's devastating because they've came all the way to the finals. They stayed up really late. But at the same time, that's what the nature of competition is. Only one of these guys can go to the offline finals to join Magic Amy, Dark Wanix, and Zalay. Ping Ping Ho, of course, is qualified through points. We have 3 players amongst Waifu, Silent Storm, Chalky, and Max. Find out what happens tomorrow, by the way. If you follow at ESL Hearthstone, the matches will be played at 1 p.m. tomorrow, and they'll be updating you guys on who actually qualifies for the offline finals.
Yeah. So they'll be basically playing a roundabout way of having a 4-player double elimination bracket where the first person to lose twice does not go while the other 3 people advance. Big threat being put out pretty quickly, and this curves pretty nicely because he's going to be able to throw it on the Shade next turn as well.
Oop. Looks like the shield bot arrives right on time for the nice curve. The good thing is Savjz also has a way to clear the board with pyro equality if it ever got dangerously out of control. And the shield and mini bot is efficient. It takes a lot of mana away from the opponent. So much so that KitKatz even abstained from playing a Shade of Next Ram as well.
Wow. And I'd say this is as good of a muster for battle turn as any.
Oh! That's actually really funny.
It's a big deal because now he can not only play Shade, but also Hero Power to clear away one of these 1/1s.
Yep. It just weakens it a little bit.
Well, next turn could have been a coined Quartermaster. And he would have had...
He still can, but it's just not as good.
yeah, last he would have been able to have 2 of those instead of 3. Or 2 instead of 1. Now it's not quite as good. Not sure if it would have changed his play either way. But still,
It definitely would have made his board a lot stronger. Well, the Drew the Claw right on curve. KitKatz is drawing like a god. Dang. Usually in these times you play Harrison Jones right on curve.
Yeah.
Because he's sort of useless in the matchup. At best, he can take out a Sludge Belcher all by himself. Maybe even challenge an Ancient of Lore.
He gave Quartermaster a thought. Because it would allow him to trade into the Druidiclaw right now.
Yeah, that's true. He also can kill off this Shaded Next Rammus with a Consecration Pyromancer. Yeah. Quartermaster puts out reasonable stats as well.
Sometimes it can sit dead in your hand and you won't be able to get value out of it if you're not able to play like a dude and Quartermaster on the same turn.
Well, the thing is, Savjz is like, okay, well, I'm happy if he uses 2 of his mana to hero power, so that way he can't play something else. But the joke's on Savjz. KitKatz couldn't play anything anyways on turn 6. I guess he could Savage Roar. Savage Roar and take advantage of the Quartermaster here. But I guess it's one of those things where it doesn't feel like you're gaining much from it. You clear the board, but he can easily address it.
Yeah.
But then again, you're not doing much either. You're like just passing, essentially. Kill off the 3-1.
I must safeguard the land.
Huh.
So he kills off the Quartermaster.
Yeah. I
Sure.
mean, this is pretty good. Yeah, using a Keeper, you want to
He's
have
paving
one.
the way for a good Ancient of Lore.
Yep.
So there's a couple ways to kill this Shade of Next Rammus. You can Consecration, of course. I think that's the cleanest way, because then you hero power. There's also a Pyromancer play, so you can get out the Harrison Jones, but
Well, you can
that doesn't feel good either.
you can Pyromancer equality and clear the board that way, but then your Pyromancer just dies to Hero Power next turn. But then if he's Hero Powering on turn 7,
Yeah, so if you this is the way to clear it with getting Harrison Jones out, but like I said, it can get swiped and it just easily run over.
yeah.
But again, one of those scenarios where maybe like swipe is okay. It's like, well, he's giving up a lot of his mana.
Because it would make for an awkward turn.
Right.
You'd have to have a 3-mana card to piece together.
The key to this turn was that he wanted to get ahead of the Ancient of Lore. So that way he doesn't fall too far behind. But I'm pretty sure the way KitKatz is running today, he's not going to be stopped. Well, Consecration BGH, that's one of the cleanest kills.
Yes, it is. Well, I mean...
Unless it kills Harrison Jones. Oh, massive damage.
Oh, no, and it puts him in range for combo.
7 damage.
Yeah, I mean...
Wow.
It is turn 8, but...
Okay, well, he's got good minions on the board, so he can challenge his Ancient of Lore.
Yep.
And he does have a taunt. So, he's still staying alive here.
It's still dangerous, though, because now
Right.
he's got to play around.
Combo, like,
Combo.
indefinitely until he picks up lay on hands.
Yeah, and on lay on hands turn, I mean, it puts you out of combo range, but it also, you're giving up a lot of control, potentially a lot of control on board to be able to heal up out of range. So then you give an opportunity for the Druid to build back up their board, and then usually you're back in combo range again.
I wonder if Savjz is wondering about pushing for lethal here. Just like 9 damage straight to the face.
Yep.
Whoa! He says if you have it, you have it.
And a quality Consecrate as well in his hand, so that's like a surefire way to be able to push through for damage the following turn.
Yeah, there's no lethal this turn. I was just calculating.
What does he have to Ancient of Lore heal and then Wrath?
Wrath
BGH?
BGH. Yeah, that's his best bet. And that's another good sign for Savjz in the sense, because he's like using a lot of cards that normally cycle and are efficient. What's bad news is that he doesn't actually have to kill yet. He's got 9, 11 damage. Oh! Welcome to the field, Tyrion.
Put your faith in the light.
And now with the second taunt, he knows that he can just continue to just go face and ignore this Ancient Lore on the board.
Wow, what a turnaround again. I can't believe it. Savjz looks like he might have sealed this game.
Yeah, I don't see a way out here.
Needs to wild growth into some taunt or way to survive, or because like a silence is not good enough. Tyrion's still a 6/6 body.
This is a fast Druid, so I don't think he's really running much. I mean, Druid of the Claw, what else would he have? He can't even draw anything with it that's going to keep him alive, I don't think.
Oh, Force of Nature too late. We have ourselves a Game 5 going into the last week of ESL Hearthstone Legendary Series. Savjz played this game like a god. Well played.
Both players had some pretty
I concede.
good off the tops.
Damn! Well, the winner of this next game goes to LAN. And it's definitely one where I can't predict either way. And I don't know, like maybe KitKatz switches up. Maybe he switches to his Warrior for the last one, and we have a Warrior versus Paladin.
It worked out for him last time. I mean, in the last series that it came down to this, he was a 2-1 in the lead. Went with his Mage in the first blind pick matchup, lost.
Right.
Then went with his Warrior, and
his Warrior like barely outlasted the Paladin.
Barely did, yeah.
And then, or I don't even remember what happened. It was just nuts. It was a hand lock.
There was some KT or some Kel'Thuzad and some Sneeds involved. Who knows?
And I don't remember the exact details, but there's definitely Sneasel Shredder, and there were definitely Kel'Thuzads.
I blacked out a little bit after that match.
Blacked out. All right, so one more game to decide it all. No ties, no tie breakers between these two players. This is all or nothing. And if I were them, I'd be getting awfully nervous at this point. My stomach would be hurting. I know I start sweating. I start getting really fidgety. Yeah, basically I'm a nervous wreck whenever I'm in these competition situations. I can't even imagine the pressure on these guys. One more time, KitKatz queues up Druid. Savjz again goes for the Paladin. For all the marbles,
Wow.
Who is going to California?
And I mean, this is a pretty fitting end as well, because these two classes, I think, are a pretty good representation of
The MVPs today?
Yeah, of what's been strong today and what's been strong over the whole weekend, I guess.
Druids especially has been flexing its muscles. Mage has also had a strong representation, but middling results.
Yeah.
The win percentages is pretty...
yeah, Mage was actually the most brought class today with 6. Druid, Warlock, and Paladin were all brought 4 times by 4 people. And the other ones were underrepresented. I think Hunter was next with 2. And Warrior and Priest both had 1. And Shaman had 1. And Rogue had 0. Sad Rogues.
Well, I'm excited to see what's going to happen between these two guys. Very similar lineups, too, which might even explain why they're in the finals, because their lineups seem to be well-rounded. So let's see if it can happen one more time. Will KitKatz go to California to join us in Burbank, or will Savjz all the way from Finland join us for some nice weather here in the sunny side of the USA. I don't know. It's pretty cold and brutal there in the Scandinavian region, as far as I heard.
Yeah, it was like 80 degrees here outside
Yeah,
today when the
like
sun was out.
Finland is like 1.
And that's being pretty generous.
Oh boy. KitKatz does have that start. The wild growth. That is a very good start. How does Savjz respond? He needs his early game minions like the shield and mini bot, the zombie chow, the muster for battle.
And it's a pretty good curve to complement the wild growth as well. Like he could coin wild growth.
Oh man. That's not necessarily the best.
Oh!
That's a sick arena hand, I guess, if you were able to play any earlier minions.
It's also sick if you're really into symmetry.
Palindrome. Oh, KitKatz picks up Innervate. I think Innervate Shade is definitely in order at this time. Because then you wild growth into the Pilot Shredder.
Yeah.
Alright, okay. Well, I guess you can follow the curve too.
Yeah. And this opens up an opportunity if he draws into like a 7 mana to follow the curve with Shade, Piloted Shredder, and then if he draws into an Ancient of Lore, Innervate Ancient of Lore on the following turn. I mean, he just curves out so nicely right now, even without that Piloted Shredder into Spectral Knight. He has to play Mind Control Tech right off the bat just to be able to deal with the board at hand. Well,
That Mind Control Tech was actually really important because now his True Silver Champion and Senjin become a lot stronger. They're now an extension of damage, which allows him to control the board a lot more effectively. So now his KitKatz has to make a choice if his Pilot Shredder is going to be vulnerable. And I think True Silver coming out here is... I mean, it really depends what rolls, but if it's a 1 health minion, Savjz is in a pretty good spot, I think.
yeah.
Oh, that's good for Savjz. Does he want to keep his 1-1 alive at the stake of keeping healthy? It doesn't really matter what trades into it, like if the Shade of Naxxramas comes to 4 health because the True Silver Champion. But I'm pretty sure you want to keep it as healthy as possible. Paladin is also one of the best classes at dealing with the Spectral Knight with the Peacekeeper, but in this scenario he doesn't have it.
Yep. He's gonna reveal the Shade. That's gonna protect his Spectral Knight. I don't know. This is looking pretty grim. He does have a quality.
Well, interestingly enough, Senjin challenges the Spectral Knight pretty well.
Oh yeah, that's true.
For a lower minion cost, that's something that I didn't consider.
Harrison Jones against the Spectral
It just
Knight.
needs to be played on curve. You just
Yeah.
can't. Good thing he also didn't play the Senjin for that reason. KitKatz has this Pilot Shredder to keep it on. I still like Spectral Knight though, number 2.
Yeah.
And
What
the question becomes if you trade into this Harrison Jones. But I feel like you can get away with attacking face. Yeah.
Either way, you're the aggression in the situation, so you know that he's going to have to do it anyway. And with Spectral Knight, you're not worried about it being cleared any other way. I mean, Peacekeeper, like you said, but if you didn't have it the previous turn,
This Black Knight's gonna hurt a lot. Oh man.
no.
Oh yikes. That is such a big swing.
you got to feel for Savjz right now, covering his face with his hand.
Okay, well, he still has a way. He's got a quality. Oh! What a draw!
Wow!
Wait. KitKatz can finish this up. He can finish up the top deck wars.
With a
With
Savage
a Savage
Roar.
Roar, because he's on the draw. He's got Innervate and the Force of Nature. But this has gotten down to the wire. Oh, so close.
He's
But now
actually at
KitKatz-
12 health.
Yeah.
So he can actually throw down Ascension and, or he might want to lay on hands actually. No, Ascension would function just the same. Keep him out of range.
Senjin with the True Silver Champion keeps him at a pretty safe range.
Yeah.
I think. Hold on.
He might actually not want to proc the Piloted Sky Golem.
much damage.
Or the
he's
pilot
2
shredder.
damage off lethal. He's so close.
Oh my goodness.
But the Senshin plus the True Silver puts him at 14 health. And if he has, and he attacks the big game hunter, right? You exchange the shield.
Yeah. I don't think there's. I think he.
But if you attack with the shield and mini bot into the big game hunter and he hero powers, he's out of range. So I think you have to though, because if he has combo, then you just simply die.
Yeah. I don't think there's any other play. And you have to leave the
Oh my
pilot shredder up
gosh,
here because
he's
you're
still
you're
on a
afraid of
draw
what
to
you're gonna
win. No, but he's gonna be living a little bit longer. This is so tense. I can't believe how close it's gotten. It feels like every single time Druid's able to swing it, and then Paladin just turns it on.
If he did not draw that Consecrate when he did,
So he can't even look. He's like, did I stay up till 7 a.m. just to lose here at the finish line?
look at his eyes. It's like they're red, and he stayed up for so long. I mean, there's a likelihood that he might have been up for like close to 24 hours at this point, depending on his sleep schedule. But he usually
Oh my
streams
goodness.
pretty like really late into the night, which would be like mid-morning for him, I think.
I mean, KitKatz might force of nature here just to stay alive. Or, I mean, if he heals, it's the same effect too. Like, if he heals and he force of nature, he's gaining around the same amount of life.
Yeah.
Because he's healing for 5, or he's like killing off 5 damage. So he has to force of nature just to preserve what he has. But now this gives Savjz some room to breathe. He can finally use his lay on hands. Or if he picks up Consecration number 2. Oh no, he already used Consecration. Number 2. Alright, so if he uses Lay on Hands.
It put him at 21 health. Or no, in his weapon, that would put him on.
Right. But if he plays the Pilot Shredder or the Pilot Sky Golem, that's just like immediate pressure. Lay on Hands is like a super defensive, like let me reset. And that gives the opportunity for Paladin or Druid to maybe reset with Ancient of Lore. So I don't know. I think the right play here is the Sky Golem. Even though you saw Force of Nature, he's on 2 cards. Very tough call here for Savjz. He has to make the read that his opponent doesn't have it anymore.
Yeah. Well, because yeah, I mean, that's the right read because you know the Force of Nature's gone. You know that he didn't have the Savage Roar, so he would have to have the second Force of Nature in that situation. And top deck into this.
Can KitKatz pull himself out of this one?
Wow.
Drew the Claw's stall, but not enough stall.
Is that it?
No, he can actually play his entire hand and stay alive, right? Drew the Claw plus Innervate Ancient of Lore to heal. Is there another sequence here? Drew the Claw, if you charge, does 9 damage max. That's out of the question. Ancient of Lore, if it draws 2 and it picks up Swipe, now you still die.
Nope.
You just died to the weapon.
Yeah, you have to put it in top mode and heal up with the Ancient of Lore just to survive.
To survive by 1 HP. To survive by 1 HP because he's going to...
Savjz,
actually, never
oh
mind,
no.
trade into it.
Oh,
Oh, it's 5 and 10. The
No
sequencing.
way.
Oh no! Mistake! He's still going to be in this game, I believe, just barely. Unless Savjz picks up a quality. Oh my goodness. At the goal line, KitKatz' mistake might have costed him.
Second lay on hands as well. Not there yet.
Nope, not there. But he's at a very comfortable health.
Yeah,
Does he kill off this fairy dragon?
I think so.
I think so. It's very problematic.
On second thought, he does have
He has
Quartermaster.
Quartermaster.
That could be a win condition for next turn.
KitKatz needs swipe off the top.
Yeah.
Savjz realizes that. He's like, do I play around swipe? No, Wild Growth is not it. Oh man, that thing is becoming so big. You might get a legitimate big game hunter target.
It's not enough. It's not enough.
Is that it?
That
I
might be
think
it.
that's it. KitKatz has run out of options, and Savjz comes back, and he looks like he's gonna win it 3-2,
Wow.
and punch his ticket to Burbank, California. Well played.
I was almost ready to write this game off
And
when
well
that big
met.
night, when that Black Knight came out. An 11-1. Oh. Well, he tries, throws out the well played.
Oh man, I feel for KitKatz as well. So close to another breakout performance and being able to go out to the top 8, but falls short, and that means Savjz from Team Liquid will be the 4th member to qualify for the offline finals.
Wow.
I want to interview him right now,
I wish we could.
and also give him a pillow. I think
Yeah,
he needs to
seriously.
sleep.
He
I have
really
I
does
have
need
some
to sleep.
melatonin pills for my jet lag. When I ever travel, I'll just probably like stuff his mouth with like 10 of them and just like make him go
Well, I
to
mean,
sleep.
there's got to be some adrenaline after that game. It came down to the wire there, and he might
Whoa.
just even through all his exhaustion, being or way into the hours of the morning over there, he might even have to stay up just because of the adrenaline rush that he might have gotten at the end of that game. But
Wow.
that was a great series.
What an excellent day of games. Today was by far my favorite week of the Legendary Series.
For sure.
No bias. We had some Raynad 360 windmill slams. We had some unforgettable Sneasel Shredder RNG. We've had Savjz qualifying despite being down. Remember, at the very beginning of the day, Savjz was down 0-2. I thought he was going to lose first round, and that was the end of we saw him. But ends up carving his way, and I'll see him in California in a few weeks. Congratulations, my friend. I can't wait to hang out with you.
Yeah. So Darquanix, Zalay, Magic Amy, the other 3 players that qualified through their victories in the weeks. And of course, Pinpingho
Yep, from
qualified
Taiwan.
through points.
We have a very international finals from Korea, Taiwan, Sweden, Finland, USA, and of course we have Silent Storm from Canada, Weifu from Taiwan, Chalky from America, and Max from the UK. They're all fighting for 3 spots tomorrow at 1 p.m. We are not going to be broadcasting it, but you can follow the Twitter at ESL Hearthstone. If you ask as ZumoQT or at Frodan, we'll also direct you. And we'll be back here next Saturday also for another broadcast. So we're going to have not the regular season, but more fun festivities, and you'll be seeing it going on. In the meantime, guys, we also want to encourage you to check out all of our sponsors. Thank you so much, everyone who's tuned in. The best way you can support us, comment on the threads, tell your friends about the Legendary Series, and also click on these links and buy some products if you like them. The Western Digital Crucial and the Cooler Master gear at Newegg, or if you like the Plantronics stuff, there's some headsets they've been giving away. They're also been distributing out some of these free Hearthstone packs at the very end, I believe, of the season. They'll be talking about it all throughout the broadcast, and hopefully you guys get a chance to partake in that raffle.
Yeah, and we are going to go ahead and bring up the standings for the points for this season. Of course, Pinpingho does qualify. Max, Chalky, Silent Storm, and Weifu, like Ferdinand said, will all be competing tomorrow to determine the
Also,
last 3
KitKatz has
spots.
35 points. Not
Yeah.
that it matters much, but he joined Show Dog, Hibbler, and Hyped as 2 second-place finishers. And of course, D2, the highest point finisher, despite not being able to qualify. Another shout out to him.
Yep.
We've had a great 8 weeks. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. We'll be back next weekend for more Hearthstone action. So from Frodan, Azumo, and the rest of the production crew here at ESL America, we'll see you guys next time.